TCI is brought to you by Spendthrift Stallion Jimmy Creed, Distorted Humor's most brilliant Grade 1 winning son at stud. Now available on Spendthrift's Breed Secure program.
Welcome back to TCI, your inside track to the Triple Crown. Alongside Joel Cunningham, I'm John Siegel. Well, Joel, first of all, it's good to see you here, man. We've been snowed in for about 4 days here in Kentucky. The weather's been absolutely brutal.
It has been brutal, and obviously Oaklawn Park had some ice issues that, canceled the Southwest Stakes. It's really going to hurt that race, John. They're going to try to run it again this Sunday. We'll talk about that, but because it's only, doesn't offer the 50 points that now we're into this week with the Fountain Youth and Risen Star, and also only being a grade 3 with a $300,000 purse, it's really going to get some defections in there. They're going to change the complex of that race.
Yeah, let's talk about it a little bit. Like you said, now you can go with the 50-point races are now starting. They start this weekend. Right. It is going to be interesting to see what happens with the Southwest. Tell me what you think is going to happen in that race. Who's going to run in there, and who do you think will switch to Fairgrounds?
I think you'll still see the locally based horse in there. They drew 12 originally. We already know War Story has defected. He's 4-1 in there in the morning line. Now he's 5-1 in the morning line. The Risen Star, he's running for those 50 points. He's running for $100,000 more in purse. Oh, and by the way, it's a grade 2, and we know War Story likes Fairgrounds. He's won there, and that's where Tom Amos is based. So, the one thing the Southwest had by advantage was timing. Horses that are on that timing schedule to want to run that prep race, that week and then come back in the Rebel and be on that path. But now not having to run there and sort of being set off by a week, I think that's really gives an opportunity to the Risen Star, and you see that. You also see Todd Pletcher's horse, J.S. Bach. He's going to ship in with the other Pletcher horses that are running the Mine Shaft and whatnot Fairgrounds weekend. He's also going to run in the Risen Star and defect from Southwest.
All right, so the Southwest, you think horses like Mr. Z, Wayne Lucas there, that's his kind of home track. You think it opens it up? Is it better for him this way?
You know what? I think the pace is going to be a little slower because I actually think with J.S. Bach drawing the rail and War Story being an 11-hole, you were going to get more pace than we originally thought. But now with those tactical horses going to the Risen Star, it opens up for a horse like Mr. Z, a Bold Conquest, to maybe take the initiative here. And we saw a lot of closers in that original body of 12 horses. You're going to get most of those back, and you might get an interesting newcomer now. Again, with timing, having another week now, you might get Hillbilly Royalty, a horse that was an impressive maiden winner there for country singer Toby Keith. He might be coming back in this race.
All right, let's go to the Fairgrounds, and let's talk about the 50-point races. Let's talk about the Risen Star. I see our number 8 in here, Imperia. It's very interesting. He's going to run against International Star. The reason I bring that horse up, he won the Lecomte, so we know he likes to track.
Well, he's the most intriguing horse of the weekend, in my opinion, Imperia. Well-bred colt. We've talked about him a little bit. Right now, we love his talent and style and upside, but he's just a tepid horse on our list right now. He's ranked number 9. I think Kieran McLaughlin, frankly, has campaigned Frosted like he likes Frosted a little better, or Frosted's potential a little better on the dirt or as a classic type colt. So Imperia is a horse that still has to answer that dirt question in my mind, but he's doing it at the right track, Fairgrounds. His closing style with that long stretch, I think there's plenty of speed in this race in the Risen Star and a track that usually doesn't have any sort of speed bias. It's the right place for him to try to get on the Triple Crown trail. Be interested to see how Imperia runs. I definitely like that Mike Smith jumps aboard him there. Obviously a good finishing rider.
All right, well, let's move now then to the Fountain of Youth. This is the marquee race of the weekend at Gulfstream Park. We have 2 of our horses on the top 10. We have Frosted in at number 7, and we have Upstart in at number 4. This is a rematch of the Holy Bull. You think those 2 are the class of the field again?
Yeah, even though I said Imperia is the most intriguing horse of the weekend, the matchup to me this weekend that everybody needs to pay attention to is this rematch of the Holy Bull between these 2 horses, because now you have Frosted getting 6 pounds. And again, I think Frosted's a progressive colt. He's a big type colt, John. I've seen areas of greenness, him running in the Remsen, trying to chase the slow pace there, with the speed bias track. Same thing, speed bias type situation where Upstart just had a tactical advantage on him in the Holy Bull. Now him getting blinkers, another race under his belt, even though it's only a mile and a 16th, frankly, I think Frosted needs to go a little further. I think maybe we'll see his best and maybe the Florida Derby next time out when he goes a little bit further here. But the fact that he drew better and has blinkers, maybe he shows a little more speed in here. And it'll be very interesting to see. You know, there's a 5-length gap in the Holy Bull. Can he close that gap? In my opinion, he can. I'm not so sure he can beat Upstart right now. Upstart has to prove that he's not going to bounce off his last race. But in my opinion, I like Frost and his upside quite a bit. So I'm very interested to see how this race shakes out between those top 2 in the stretch.
All right, and it's this time of year, even though it's snowing and it's crazy out, it is the spring, and this is when we see newcomers coming onto the field. Tell me, who do you think is an upstart, kind of an up-and-coming, sorry, not upstart because of the horse, but who's an up-and-comer in here that we need to keep our eye on?
Well, I mean, Todd Pletcher likes hits and knockout quite a bit. I mean, the horse hadn't done anything wrong. $350,000 son, a lemon drop kid, you know, certainly has 2-turn credentials by his pedigree, and he's 2 for 2. I mean, one first time out sprinting, you know, wasn't all that impressive winning by a nose, but then comes back and wins easily in a 1-turn mile allowance race. Been training forwardly for this. Certainly you have to, you know, appreciate the fact that anytime Todd Pletcher has a well-meant, you know, well-bred 3-year-old that hasn't done anything wrong in the Fountain of Youth, and that's his contender in there, you have to pay attention just based on the connections.
All right, thank you, Joel. It's going to be an interesting weekend, that's for sure. This is the first of the 50-point races, so it's really going to change. You know, it'll even change how the TCI top 10 looks coming into next week.
Yeah, the top 10 hadn't changed. Remember, we hadn't moved Texas Red yet. Nothing really happened last week. I mean, we had the El Camino Real Derby, but a tap of the race didn't affect our top 10. Next week, I have a feeling we might have to make some tweaks to that list.
All right, thank you. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure you come back next week. We'll recap these races, and we'll give you a new TCI top 10.